Before you watch this video, super sorry I don't know how to look into a lens, but I'm really working on it. Haha! Sorry, it's gonna be annoying and I'm gonna be looking at myself the whole time. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this discussion that we're about to have. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for clicking on this video. My name is Kelly Lauren and today I'm gonna be talking about social media, a very controversial topic, and I'm also in the thick of it. I'm an influencer, so I also don't think you know that I have a degree in this, in communications, with a focus on social media communications. So I'll be sharing a little bit about what I learned in school and some things I learned on TikTok and stuff, and then give you my take, and that's gonna be that. So without further ado, the reason I wanted to make this video is because I saw something on TikTok where a comedian was talking about the effects of social media, and he did it in a very good way. And I'm just gonna show you this video and we can watch it together, and then yeah.
Everybody is worrying about their legacy. Everyone's being their own biographer. It's horrifying, but this is the problem with democracy. This is the problem with the free internet. I'm sorry, it shouldn't be this free. I think there should be regulation. I don't think you should be able to be on the internet freely until you're 18. And that's like, I guess I'm a Quaker, I don't care. I don't, it's like not okay. It really isn't.
Pour me a drink and clear my schedule. I'm a FaceTime with my mom tonight.
We're applying a like capitalist whatever like streamlining logic to literally our emotions and our souls. You make Snapchat, it's a service where a photo can
that like capitalizing off of just like who we are could have some negative effects on us, you know what I mean?
disappear for 24 hours. What do you think kids are using that for? What do you think 12-year-olds are using for? You're creating a place to host child pornography.
Basically.
Period.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's
Everybody is a brand. Everybody is their own publicist. Everybody is working.
So I have real thoughts about this stuff, and I feel like to not talk about how I really feel about it would just be doing myself such a disservice and almost an injustice, because I would just be not representing my true feelings. So I definitely agree with most things he's saying. At least like for me, I got a computer when I was super young, and bless my mother, she wanted to equip me with tools for learning and everything, but the internet is such a big place that when kids find things early, it can be really gnarly, and it can just rob them of their innocence a little bit, because they can be exposed to things that they shouldn't have to worry about at the age of 13 and 12 and 11. And so these comments are crazy. Like one of the comments is, I agree with him and I'm 17. I think someone should have been monitoring me, seeing as I was groomed a lot. 13 to 15. The internet took my childhood a bit. That is crazy. So yeah, I think we should talk about it, because right now there's absolutely no guidelines, and the next generation, I want them to have that childhood and purity and safetiness where they have an innocence. I think part of the weirdness of the world is that's like stripped of us, and then we look for it later in life, and it's all about reconnecting with that inner child. But anyways, a lot of the comments are just saying, I guess he's a comedian, but we should take him more seriously, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed that little TikTok clip, and I hope it made you think a little bit. And like people think he's joking, I guess, in the video, and he's like not joking. But real quickly, I wanted to go over my experience with social media. This isn't going to be a super thorough video because I really have a lot to say about personally how it has affected me, but I'm just going to do generally what it does. So social media, personally, this is my take, I guess. I see it as a tool of expression. It really is a perfect mirror. And if you are insecure in real life, then you're going to be insecure on social media. And if you're confident in real life, then you're going to be confident on social media to a certain degree. And it gets hard when you get into the technicalities of the way that the app works. And the certain features are designed for our addiction. And so the gamification, as they call it in studies, the gamification of the app turns it into a game, and you get rewards and you get points like the likes and the views and all that stuff. So my first inclination is to love social media as a tool of expression, because it really reflects back to us as we're like how we're feeling. If I'm checking other people's stories all day, I'm not focusing on myself. I'm not really that excited about my own life, and I think that if we do use it as a tool to step back and look at what we're doing, it can be positive, because it can be a perfect mirror of what we need to work on. But then also, the gamification makes it so that it's addicting, and then because it's addicting, it makes you just go on it more, and then the more time you spend on it, the more you care about other people's lives, and you're not putting that time into your own life. So where do we draw the line, and how do we have the balance, and how do we ungamify it, or know that it's at least being altered on the screens to trick our minds into wanting to go back to it? For me, it looks like practicing mindful social media consumption. It is hard, and I death scroll on TikTok for like hours, and my job is an influencer, so it makes it extra hard. But just being mindful of like, sorry, it's super hot in Hawaii right now, but just being mindful of like, every time you scroll and you intake someone's life, you are forfeiting that time in your own life that you are going to get to live. Every time you're taking in something else, that's a much amount of time of your own life you've just chunked away to someone else. So if we're mindlessly scrolling in things for a day, that's a whole day of our lives that we could make a freaking magical mystery storybook that goes and saves a bunch of people. That was a bad example, but you know what I'm saying. Anyways, I hope this isn't too long, my editor doesn't hate me. But basically I think it's a tool of expression that it is good in its nature, and here are some pros of social media. It is a tool that helps you define how you see the world. So every time you post something, you have to go through a series of checks where it is, I believe this. And then before you post, you're like, wait a minute, do I really believe this? Because you already had the thought, but then you have to self-check and go back into all your different viewpoints and see if your opinion is matching up with all the viewpoints that you hold, and you have to like check it by everything, and then you have to think about who's going to be intaking your information. And so it creates a climate that is very kind of thoughtful, hopefully, if you're doing it the right way and you're not being insensitive to who is on the other side of the screen. If you're being sensitive and doing it nicely, then you should create a climate that is more politically correct, which could be good or bad, but it makes a world where you're constantly checking yourself and what you think. So you're constantly defining yourself with everything you post and everything you do. You are constantly defining what you want to look like, what you believe in, blah, 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 which is positive. Where it gets tricky is when you can receive feedback on everything and compare it, and I think that is the part that makes it kind of tricky. Every time you post, you're basically defining yourself. You're basically saying this is who I am, and it does reinforce your sense of self at the end of the day, because you have to know yourself better to know yourself, to know what you want to know to post, you know what I mean? So basically, without further ado, I'm going to explain a study I did for my thesis of communications, and I did my best. I don't know, I surveyed like a bunch of people. I think it was like 50 people or something. I was trying to figure out how much social media usage affected a person's awareness, social awareness, awareness of themselves. So I had a grading thing where you could grade yourself on self-awareness, and it was a self-test, so it was biased a little bit, but I guess that also plays into confidence being measured in the test. So it was measuring your confidence of your awareness. So I was testing people's awareness, and then I was measuring that and comparing it to how much time they spent on social media. So I would get their screen time every day on social media and compare it with their perception of themselves. And what I found is that people who don't use social media at all had a pretty high and normal idea of themselves, confidence in their awareness. People who use social media a lot had a lot of screen time but didn't have a lot of posts, engagement, followers. People who didn't actually use the app as much had a low level of confidence in their awareness. And so people who use the app a high amount, they matched comparatively with people who didn't use the app at all. But then when you start using the app but not using the app, just being a viewer instead of a poster, a generator, if you're just intaking information, it does affect your confidence and your awareness. And that was interesting. That was just very interesting to me. And I can try and publish this study if anyone is actually interested to read my thesis in 2019. I would like to hear your thoughts. I don't know if anyone cares about this, but it is something I'm passionate about, and I love opening up discussion for this. In short, social media is amazing because it forces you to define yourself. But then there's also the longer version where it's gamified and it's addicting and has you compare yourself, but I don't think it's a bad thing, because we'll always do that. And if you're a true artist, then you can compare yourself with love, and if you have love in your heart, then you will compare yourself lovingly. And if there is some sort of something needs to get worked out, then the comparison's gonna really hurt. So again, that's why I think it's like a mirror. But anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this talk. I hope it made sense to you. And yeah, I just am here to show you that you're awesome and you're magic, and I want to empower you and let you know that you're cool and you're doing amazing things in the world, and you affect so many people every day, and this world would not be the same without you. So yeah, if you like social media, then like this, and if you don't like social media, then like this, and bye.